Okay, let's come back to first principles. When it comes to your dating and your romance, if you're single and you want to meet someone, or if you're already in a romance and you want to transform it because it's not quite up to where you'd like it to be, or maybe you're in a relationship with someone right now and you don't want to be and you want to be single, or you just want to be with someone different because it's not fulfilling. If you strip away all the contextual layers and all the surface level things you can see about that, at its fundamental root, you want to change something. You're asking for change. There are requirements that have to be met in order for that change to occur. Nothing happens by itself, just randomly. This is the law of cause and effect. For every cause there is an effect, and for every effect there is a cause. I think there's another part of that that says something like, chance is but a name to the law not recognized. So that's just another way of saying, if you don't understand how something happened, that doesn't mean there's no cause, it just means you don't know what the cause was. So nothing just happens by accident, right? There's a certain set of requirements that have to be met. I'll give you a really simple example so you can understand the mechanics of what I mean. Bob goes into sales and never makes any phone calls and never knocks on any doors, and then starts blaming the world for why he's not making any money. Now that doesn't make any sense to you or I. That's an easy example because in order for you to make sales, one of the requirements is you have to actually contact a prospective customer. I'm not going to get into the business side of that because that's out of scope for this conversation, but suffice to say, if I want to make a sale, my first step is to actually go and speak to people that might want to buy whatever I'm selling, right? That sounds very obvious, but when it comes to romance and dating, that understanding actually flies out the window. So if we're comparing your romance and your dating life to something more platonic, like building a business or starting a business, learning a skill, getting in shape, maybe something more performance-based like run 5K, marathon, or lift a certain poundage in the gym. For some reason, when we think about those things, we understand cause and effect a lot more clearly because perhaps, I'm just theorizing now, there's not as much emotional charge behind it. But when it comes to something closer to home, something a bit more primal, like who you want to date and your romance, we have this habit of putting that in a separate box where we think that there's a different set of rules for my romantic life as opposed to my business or career life or my health. And dating and romance is this mystical, magical aspect of my experience that doesn't play by the same rules and doesn't work the same way. That's not true. That's one of the first confusions and mistakes that I honestly think people make. And it's one of those things where that one misunderstanding might set you off course, maybe a few millimeters, but as you keep going in that direction, you get further and further away from your intended destination. Just from that one misunderstanding alone. So everything starts with mindset. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because a lot of you, and I say you meaning the people that I've met in my life, are complaining that things aren't the way they should be. Or people shouldn't act like that. Men ain't shit. Women ain't shit. Men shouldn't behave this way. Women shouldn't act like that. It should be so much easier than this. Why is it so hard? And as I continue to listen to them and I read between the lines and what they're saying, these people, and this might be you as well, you're not accepting things as they are. So I'll give you another example, really closely related to sales, by the way. Dating and sales is very, very closely related, and that's another topic for another video. But when it comes to meeting someone, like Bob and the sales example, if you just sit at home all day and you're not interacting with anyone, how are you going to meet someone? It's not going to happen, is it? Right? Because if you picture all the ideal people you'd like to date and have an experience with or have a romance with, they don't know you exist yet. They're not going to form a single file orderly queue outside your home and start knocking on your door, right? Because they don't know you exist. And even if they did know you exist, why would they automatically want to do that? right? Things don't happen that way, right? So again, we'll come back to what I said earlier. There's a certain set of requirements that must be met in order for a result to manifest, to be created. And this particularly applies to people that work. You know, as you get older, you leave school, you start working full time. You're really busy, you're really tired, and you stop going out as much because you form your own little bubble, right? You have your workplace, and maybe you have a gym or some other social thing that you do, and then you come home, and that's it. And maybe there's some variability in your social life on the weekend, maybe. But for the most part, especially in the West, it's work, work, work. So I do sympathize with you. When you do that, you're not fulfilling the requirements that have to be met. So let's assume that all the people that you want to date, just keep it very simple. Let's say they all hang out at some bar, right? I'm not saying you have to go to a bar to meet someone, I'm just using it as an example. Let's say they all meet at this bar on this particular day. You don't go to that bar on that day because you just go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, and you go to sleep. And that's all you do. You're never going to meet those people. And then you get pissed off and angry because you say, well, I'm so tired, I'm so busy, I don't have anyone to go with. You make all these excuses about why you don't go to the bar. And then you get pissed off with the world thinking dating's too hard or life is too hard. What you're actually doing is, and I say this with all the love and with all due respect, you're projecting your own personal beliefs, personal values, insecurities, and shadow onto the world. You're trying to force a square peg through a round hole, meaning you're projecting how you think the world should be onto other people. And then you get mad at the world and other people for not behaving the way you think they should be. And that's why you're not getting the results you want. It's going to be pretty painful for you to confront, because our ego can be one of our biggest sources of energy and also one of our biggest limitations. You are so certain right now that you are correct, that you're right about how things should be. But with all due respect, if you were right, why are you still single? Or in a romance that you don't like? I'm not trying to make you feel bad, I'm trying to help you. But that's a question you have to have the internal courage to face. If you were right, if all your assumptions and your beliefs about how things should work were correct, why do you not yet have the results that you're craving? Ultimately, the truth is found in your results for most things. If you truly knew how to do something, you would show that through your results. So let's take a really simple example. If I gave you two numbers right now and I asked you to make 5, you could probably do it, right? 2 plus 3, 4 plus 1, 6 minus 1. If you gave that to a friend and they couldn't do it, is it now fair to say that they don't know how to make 5? Because if they did, they would do it, right? They would tell you. It's through the result that you find the truth of whether you actually know how to do something or not. So the point I'm making is, if you want to move forward and progress in anything, never mind dating and romance, this applies to anything you can think of when it comes to your own personal transformation or any kind of change you want to make or goal you want to achieve. If you want to progress at all, you need to accept the way things are versus how you want them to be. Fish don't live on land, they just don't. The sky is blue, it's not purple. After day comes night, after night comes day. It's just the way it is. There are 4 seasons in the world. There are certain aspects of our reality that just are the way they are. And if you continue to resist and push against that because you believe that it should be a different way or it shouldn't be this way, you're going to die with those feelings, never having progressed. You will never move forward. All the gamers will know what I'm talking about. Imagine you're playing a video game, right? If you want to progress in the video game, the gamer can't start imposing their own rules onto the game because the game's not going to abide by you. They're not going to obey. There's a certain set of controls with a controller to move your character and play the game. There's a certain way that you need to move through the game to get to the next level and to complete the game, right? Let's say playing PlayStation, right? And X, the button X makes my character jump and I want to jump, but I really want to press square. I can press square literally until I die and my character will never jump because the game was not designed that way. The only way I can make my character jump in that game is to press X, because that's how the game was designed. The game will not orient itself to the gamer. The gamer must orient itself to the game. You must play by the rules of the game. Dating and romance is no different. It's exactly the same. What you need to do is learn how things actually work, not how you think things should work or the way you want things to work. You need to figure out how things actually work, how your opposite actually behaves, thinks, and believes, and what they value. And that will be your compass for how to meet the people that you want to meet. Get out of your own way. Accept things the way they are. Then you will be ready to move forward. Until you do that, as long as you keep imposing your own beliefs on how you think things should be on your dating life, you will never progress. You must get out of your own way. Accept things the way they are, not the way you want them to be.